You're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown's just begun. Are you ready? Let's go. And we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It is yours truly, Krystal Leandra, here with Ghost Girl Diaries, and it is a paranormal podcast. Brave enough for those of you that are ready to join our summoning circle with H.P. Lovecraft today. Today I have Elfie with me as my guest co-host, and we have some really cool chats that we're going to do about H.P. Lovecraft and his famous Necronomicon, so I'm kind of excited to get into that. He had a very interesting life, to say the least. He also had a really huge, influence in pop culture, even modern times. But when it comes down to paranormal, he's kind of like one of the godfathers of creating, paranormal lore. So I can't wait to get to that. I know a few of you have been messaging me on social media saying, like, Krystal, when are you coming back to YouTube? Where are your uploads? Why aren't you on Instagram? Did you die? Are you a ghost? What happened? Like, what's going on? The answer is partially yes. I have died. A part of my soul is gone and it's not coming back. I've been in the process of editing my book, as you guys know. And I didn't realize how much work it was going to be honest with you. So this particular book, I have several books that are pretty much completed. This was my first choice to release, as I've said before. And it will be called the Ghost Girl Diaries, the Love Diaries. So it does have some paranormal in it. Some of you have been asking me, is it a paranormal story? It's a real life memoir based on my relationships. And some of my relationships have had some interesting things connected to paranormal. So yes, I will be talking about paranormal in that book. I think that once it's released, Kat and I have talked about sitting down and sort of creating some Q&As for her to like interview me during a live stream about my book once it's released. So we are planning on doing that. Where is the book? I wish I could tell you. No, I'm just kidding. The editing process for a book is ungodly. Okay, like that's really all I can say is I really didn't have a clue how much work went into getting it edited, and then you have to get it into like there's different formats. I first had it in a PDF format, and then you have to add the barcode thing on the back of the book, and then you have to add the IP or what is the little like address that it comes, whatever. Anyway, it's a lot. That's all I'm saying. So I literally, and I'm only one person, so I haven't been on YouTube or doing any Instagram content because my main priority has been getting this book out. A lot of you have been saying like, why now? Why all of a sudden? I don't know. I can only tell you that in December, like I'd say the first week of December, I had a dream from my like spirit guides and my spirit team, and they basically were like pushing me to do this. They were like, it is time to release one of these books. You've got to get it done. And that sort of was my push for why I'm doing it. So it's an awesome book. I hope that you guys love it. I just told Elfie, because I've been editing my book, that I really am sick of my book at this point. Like, I feel like I could recite the damn book from front to back. Like, I feel like I have it memorized. And, you know, it's really good. So I can't wait to share it. It's going to be interesting because it's a lot of my private moments. Fingers crossed, the book should be available for purchase sometime this weekend or the latest by Monday, February 1st of 2021. So, like, we're really close to getting this finished. It will be on print demand on Amazon or on PDF, so it'll be up to you on which one you want to purchase. How much will it be? I think I'm going to stick with numerology because that's just who I am, and so my favorite number is 14, so I think the printable one will be like $14.44 because that's my lucky favorite number. And the PDF will probably be like $9.99 to stay with my numerology stuff. So just to keep you guys informed, I will always discuss what's going on social media. So make sure you're following me, especially on Twitter. That's where I do all of my announcements, is on my Twitter. But I'm going to bring in my co-host, Elfie, today. How are you, Miss Elfie?
Oh, wow, how you doing?
Good. I'm really good.
Some of it.
How's the East Coast going? Have you gotten much snow on that side? Kat did a little bit.
Yes, we started getting some snow today and everything, and it's just been, yesterday it was like, I love when my phone's like, it's 21 degrees, but it feels like 9 degrees. Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Right. Yeah, Kat sent me a picture that it felt like -5 in New Hampshire, and I was like,
I could believe it.
And I'm sitting here complaining and laughing because Vegas, it snowed in Vegas. I know people think you can't get snow in Vegas. It happens, actually. It happens a lot. It doesn't stick by any means, but, you know, it'll snow in Vegas. So the last 2 days it did snow in Vegas, and if you sit in the middle of Vegas and look at all the mountains around us, usually the west side of Vegas, because that's like the Cali side, the snow will stick over there. But the Arizona side, it's pretty rare when that happens. That's where like the Hoover Dam is. It's just warmer because it's Arizona. And there's snow on the mountains by Arizona. And I was just like blown away because that was so...
I mean, it looked beautiful.
It was gorgeous. It was, you know what? I thought to myself, I should have drove to the Hoover Dam to see what it looked like with the snow. I should have done that. I was like, God, of course, that walk. Have you ever been to the Hoover Dam?
I've not been to it.
The walk to get up that thing is like,
Oh, God.
It's not fun, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Kat's done it with me before, and she was like, wow, this is quite a walk. It is. It literally is. So anyway, H.P. Lovecraft and Necronomicon, which I am freaking obsessed with. I have the Necronomicon literally sitting right here. Let me see if I can get it. there's so many people who are like, let's just start with that, because I feel like that's a really good start topic. People are like deathly afraid of the Necronomicon. Like, there's some people out there that are like, oh my god, this like ancient text, these pictures I'm showing you guys right now, and like, you know, it's Satan's work. This is all Satan's work right here. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna summon the devil using that book or reading it. You shouldn't even have this in your house. You should burn it. And I remember when I ordered this book, I ordered it, this was years ago. I had ordered it on like barnesandnoble.com, and I went and picked it up. And because it was before like Amazon was big. And I remember when I picked it up from Barnes and Noble, the woman that gave me my order was like, we don't keep books like that on the shelves in our store. And I was like, why? She was like, because that's for the devil. It's for the devil. And oh my, Elfie and I both have it. It's so bad. So, I mean, you know, the question is, do you think it's the devil's work?
No. Short answer.
Elfie's like, I can't keep a straight face, like literally. No.
This has been in my house since I was a kid. I mean, I think this was like originally my dad's copy and everything. So this has been in my house stewing forever. So.
Well, I mean, we're also a little strange, Elfie. You have to admit, we're both a little strange. So, I mean, we're not. I mean, what's normal though? I mean, but yeah, I'm same. I've had this forever, you know, like, and I'm gonna be real. When you hold the Necronomicon, do you get bad vibes from it? No.
It was, well, it also is one of the things like that. I have had this cover, and honestly, it was like the long time before I actually ever picked it up and read it. I was more like, Necronomicon, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally like, oh, let's actually read the book.
Yep, exactly. And I think what scares people, because I'm just flipping through it like lightly, just to like look through it. Like, there's stuff that say that there's like Arabic writing in here, and then there's other things that say the incantations, you know, like, so if you think of words like that, I feel like that's automatically going to scare people off. The only thing I am going to
not look at my bookcase.
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, same. Don't come to my house and look at my bookshelf that's right over here, because there's a lot of stuff over there, you know what I'm saying? But
if that freaks you out.
Yeah, she takes a sip of her tea if that freaks you out. Okay. This is a random thing I wanted, and I haven't even told you this because I just thought it'd be fun to tell you live to get your reaction. Okay. There was a time I went to Zach's museum, and I don't think Kat was in town for this. And I woke up, and I always get followed home from him, you know, from his place. And I woke up the next day, and I had what looked like been branded, you know, like a cow brand. Like, I looked like I had been branded on my ass cheek. Okay? I'm not kidding you. And it looked like this number. And I looked up the number because I was like, it looked like a photo had been branded on my ass cheek. And it was a photograph from the Necronomicon, and it was this 4 here. So I just didn't know, you know, what do you think of that? I mean, now I'm going to scare people even more because of the shock value, you know? It was. It's all over the Necronomicon. This sort of 4-looking thing was branded on me. And I have pictures of it. Kat's actually seen it. And Kat was freaked out by it, of course. And, of course, the fact that I was able to locate the image and connect it to this is interesting. What does that mean? Satan's work? Come on, get out of here. Like, I'm sorry. In my opinion, people give Satan way too much credit. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. I think demons and Satan get way too much credit. What do I think it was? I don't know. He's got so many things in that place.
How long did that mark last on your butt?
It was a minute. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, like, it didn't go away, like, the next day. It wasn't like a cut. Like, it wasn't, like, cut there. It looked like it had been actually, like, branded in my butt. And
Okay.
it was the strangest thing. I don't think Zach has anything H.P. Lovecraftian, there. I know that
Seriously?
I
All
don't,
the things?
yeah,
Really?
he likes Lovecraft. I know that, but I don't think I'm trying to think. I mean, in his oddities room, he could have something strange, but I don't think he has anything like pre-owned by Lovecraft or anything like that. But
He saves that for his private collection.
he has some strange stuff. That's all I'm gonna say.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did have someone sold him a possible human leather bound Necronomicon. Like just like here we go.
He does have a leather bound sort of notebook thing in the prison room. I can't remember whose it was. The problem is with the museum, which I would love for you to, I know coronavirus, we don't want to, we have to wait till that's over, but once that's over and you come out here, I'd love to go with you. But really, there's so much to see there. That's why you have to go back multiple times. Like, oh yeah. I mean, there's so many things, like, you just can't even pay attention to what's there. I wish it was a real museum where they let you, like, walk around and wander. But I understand why he doesn't do that. I think he's also concerned people will, like, touch things, but there's so many things in there. Anyway, back to Lovecraft. Anyway, about my branded ass. Jeez. I told you, the conversations can just lead anywhere. Anyway, what was that related to? I mean, I honestly think sometimes energies, like, even if it's a human energy or whatever, it just wants to pretend like it's dark or demonic to scare you. And who knows, this book has literally been around for, like, ever. So now the actual story behind the Necronomicon, too, was it basically disappeared. Like, the original copy, like, supposedly disappeared and no one knew what happened to it. And then years later, it just sort of appeared again. But it was, like, disintegrating because it was in such bad shape. And then some guy, like, took the disintegrating book and then tried to, like, reassemble it in, like, a format that wasn't rotting and decaying. And then that's when they took it and started publishing it, which is what, Elfie and I have in our hands. So a lot of people thought Lovecraft basically was 1 foot in the, mortal realm and 1 foot in the spirit realm. I mean, what do you think about that?
I find very interesting because, like, when you start actually reading about him and everything, you see how much he was very much against that stuff too. I mean, he wrote about the weird stuff, but, like, his views seem to be like people to actually believe it was real to him. He thought was just ridiculous and everything. Like, to him, he just thought he was writing twists and tales, and it was like, you're having contact with the spiritual world, and he's like, I'm just writing weird stories.
Right. Well, he denied it, yet he would have roommates and people that knew him that said they would see him writing sometimes, late at night in particular. So once again, I find that interesting that he would write late at night. Apparently, he said he got his best information of, like, strike of genius or creativity, however you want to word it, between, like, 1 to 3 a.m. Once again, we're talking about the witching hour. So, like, the irony, yeah, I mean, the irony that he's writing these incredible paranormal stories during a time where, like, portals are open, it does make you wonder. But you're right, he'd interview people and he'd be like, I was just creative writing stories. And you're looking at him like, I feel like...
That's what I think is interesting, because that could be looked at too as, like, he just wrote it as it came to him. He didn't try to filter it. He didn't try to interpret it. He just, like, here's the story. And that could be seen too. I can see where there could be a connection to the subconscious or the other realm. And him not seeing it that way, he was just like, this is the story that's coming out of my imagination.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could have met him. Do you think he was, like, before his time?
Writer-wise, yeah.
I absolutely.
Like, he was very much, and that's the thing I've been finding interesting looking into him, is that when you hear about him, there's definitely the the other stuff, but then also people who actually knew him. Because he sounds like when you first meet him, he probably is the kind of standoffish, but when you get to know him, he actually is someone to hang out with, because a lot of these people who actually knew him, they're like, yeah, he was a good guy, he was polite and everything, even though everyone's like, he was also super awkward.
Right.
And had...
But, okay, wait, like, okay, I've read that too over and over again, which I laugh because, like, okay, I am extroverted. I will say that I am extroverted, and I know that is rare in paranormal. A lot of people are very, like, introverted. Like, I've even talked about Zach is very... Like, you know, I've had friends and people in my personal life. My mom has met Zach, you know, like, and people are like, they get frustrated. Like, he's not the person you see on TV. And I'm like, that's because, like, that's, he's, when he's filming, he's by himself. He's with his best friends and they're filming and there's no audience and there's no strangers there, you know? And with...
That is probably also partially a character, too.
It is.
Present a character of himself, because... as you say, if you saw the real him, you'd be like, what's this?
He is. In person, he's real withdrawn and quiet. And, like, now, when I'm around people, even when I'm doing meet and greets, I'm still the same. I'm still the big personality you guys see in person. But when it comes down to it, reading about Lovecraft and saying he was weird and withdrawn, I am like that in my own moments as well. And I know Elfie is like, and I know Kat is. And once again, I do feel like all of us that are related in paranormal or have the love of the occult on the other side, we all have that weird, creepy side where we're introverts and we're weird, because that's what we literally are so interested in the other side and death. Of course we're going to be weird and strange. And especially you're looking at H.P. Lovecraft, someone who's like literally creating worlds that we're seeing, like actual worlds that have now made such influence on pop culture. And I just love that we have that in common with H.P. Lovecraft. You know what I'm getting at? Like, it makes you not feel as alone, like, as a paranormal investigator, or if you have the witchy side and you do spells and spellcrafts, like, because, I mean, there's some spell work in here, too, in the Necronomicon. And once again, he claims the Necronomicon was a creative piece. I don't think it was. Do you, Elfie? Do you think this is just a short story book?
Well, okay, so I think, because when he talks about, like, there's been times he actually talks about it, he apparently, and everything, he feels like if anyone actually ever tried to write the book itself, it would never do justice to how he saw in his head and everything.
Right.
And going back to the introvert part and everything, we also have to remember he was a single child. He grew up around adults, older people like 2 generations back. He pretty much had to entertain himself,
Mm-hmm.
and he read like everything his grandfather had in his library and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him being naturally just withdrawn, because he never really wanted or needed socializing with other people, because he had his own imagination, his own world to play in.
Mm-hmm.
So into adulthood, that didn't quite translate too well.
Right. Well, there are short stories in here. I should have not worded that completely incorrectly. There are short stories in here, but when he comes up with these symbolism and even spell work, I mean, there's a lot in this. It depends on how much you've studied, if you do read the Necronomicon or even like flip through it. Like, the first thing I'm going to state right now, and I think Elfie's going to agree with me, is do not be afraid to buy the Necronomicon. So I hear so many of my fans are like, oh my god, I would never buy that. I'm terrified. I wouldn't have that in my house. Oh my god, please. Okay, once again, it's all about intent. Everything's all about intent. If you take hoodoo and voodoo and do it badly, it's intent. If you do it with a positive energy, it's about intent. If you take the Necronomicon and you summon in demons, well, don't ask me how you get rid of them, because, you know, Google it. So my point is, it's all about intent, and I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. Now, if you've done educational studies like I have, like Elfie says she has tons of books on her shelf, I'm the same. I'm obsessed with books. I would love one day to own my own, like, library in my house, because I'm like, I want to be Belle from Beauty and the Beast, you know what I mean? I love education, I love books. But if you look through this, I don't know if you have, Elfie, but do you get, like, a lot, like, major, like, Egyptian vibes out of this?
Well, the book was written like after Lovecraft and everything, and it's written with that intent when Lovecraft created this Eastern, Middle Eastern character and try to make it Babylonian and everything. And from what some people said, kind of failed at it.
Right.
But then you had other people. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yep, I can hear it.
Was it a ghost? Sorry, I get those a lot. Jeez. Or maybe it's your ghost, now I'm not alone anymore. Like, it's just the ghost.
They just want to chime in. They want to get their own thoughts in on it.
Why am I laughing? It's so dark. I'm like, jeez.
Because it's one of those, okay, if you... I would have to actually sit down and really look through the rituals because it's like...
Oh, I would love that. I wish we had a copy of the... Oh my god, wouldn't you love that? I would be nerding out so bad if I could see the original of this. Oh.
I think they show how to open stuff and everything, and just to be extra spooky. But I don't think it ever shows well, how do you close it? And it's well, that's kind of a key thing there, of how to do it. How do we clean this up once we open it?
Okay, this is interesting. Zeev said he loved my dress top thing, or he, I'm not sure her. Yes, thank you so much. It's actually just a shirt. It's very Sabrina vibey, right? I'm really into the Sabrina thing. I just, I'm ready for my dark baptism, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this. Elfie's all evil laughing now. She's into it. Zeev said, I believe that H.P. Lovecraft was a hybrid like Nikola Tesla. So I'm assuming it's somebody maybe a not star seed, but alien-esque. Is that what you're saying? A alien hybrid type of thing? I mean, I think Elon Musk is that personally. I mean, he's really smart too, and he took Tesla's blueprints and then created created actual Tesla cars. So was H.P. Lovecraft? I'm trying to think of some other examples of people that I would see as geniuses. I don't know if H.P. Lovecraft was necessarily a hybrid. I think that's a good theory. I just think that he was so in tune on... What sucks is he was born at a time where they didn't really keep birth records. We can't talk to him and interview him. I would be really interested in knowing when he was born, was it sort of like me? Because I've met a lot of people who were dead when they were born, and they were in it, they could communicate with the other side. So I wonder if he started out in his life on a hard foot that made him able to communicate with both worlds. Because I don't see him as a hybrid. I just see him as really literally 50% of the time communicating and connecting with the other side. And that could even mean his spirit guides. That could mean he was having visions. That could mean he could literally step into another realm. Because I was even telling Elfie Cthulhu is one of my absolute favorite stories that he's ever done. And you get so drawn into his world that it's believable. Isn't it? Don't you think it's believable?
He goes into such great detail about the archaeology and the mythology and the description. Actually, what is neat was reading the Call of Cthulhu and reading the description of just the idol that they work around with this. And I can really picture in my head now. Granted, I've seen replicas of the Cthulhu idol and everything, but reading his actual words, wow, they nailed it and everything. And also you have to see too, when they talk about his birth, it's his father was a salesman, his mother was of old money and everything, and his whole life just sounds like it was one catastrophe after another.
Mm-hmm.
That
that speaks old soul to me right there. Because usually really old souls are starseeds that come to the planet to make a major change, has a very, very difficult life path. So when I was reading about him, that was the first thing my brain went to, which also would make sense if he was a very old soul. Of course he's going to have a shoe-in with the other side.
They even talk about the amount of times that he contemplated oblivion, essentially, as he would put it. He would put it very romantically in some ways of oblivion was his way of saying it and everything. And he so many times through his life, and then something would change it where it's like, oh, okay, I'll continue on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, something would have to change where it's like, okay, we'll stay a little longer.
Right.
Like, wow.
Or, oh, I that was hard, but I got on with it, and now I'm moving on to this. And I mean, it's interesting, and it's proof he was before his time. Because, I mean, I'm using, Elfie and I are using the Necronomicon as an example, but there's books and books out there that are Lovecraft. And my point is when he was in his, like, actual prime, so when was he born? 1882 or something like that? Does that sound right?
Yeah, 1880s.
Okay, 18...
Yeah.
Lovecraft was born August 20th of 1890. Does that make him a Leo or a Libra or a Virgo?
That would make him a Leo.
Oh, so he was interesting. He was a Leo. I'd like to look up his astrological chart. Ooh.
Close to the cusp, but he would be a Leo, yeah.
Yeah, he would be a Leo, but I wonder what his moon sign is. I have to look that up really quick because when your moon sign says so much about you, and that's what I refer to in my book as well. I'm a Taurus, but I'm looking up his chart really quickly. I'm a Taurus. What's that?
He'd be cutting at this. Like, he'd be poo-pooing all this. If you're like, oh, what's your moon sign? He's like, what?
I know.
literal articles about, like, how silly he thought all this was.
I know, but yet now he's being worshipped by the whole genre of, starseeds, astrological love, paranormal, occult, witches literally worship him. I mean, like, you could go on and on about it. What was your opinion on his family life and being an only child?
It actually sounds pretty interesting. I feel bad at the fact that his mother latched onto him after his dad was institutionalized and then passed away, and then she focused both all of her fear of losing him, but also her disdain. I mean, like, I read quotes about how she would constantly say he was not a very good-looking child, and very openly said this to people, and I'm like, yeah, that really probably didn't help his self-esteem much. Probably
not. Well, and then his family had a lot of money, too, but then when his grandfather died, the money just sort of disappeared, which was basically his start to having a really difficult life.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, because there was no real structure for him, there was, like, this one podcast I was listening to where they talked about how this tribe where his night owl nature came about, because there was, like, no bedtime, no rise, he'd eat whatever he wanted, he was taken out of school quite often, and it was one of those, they debated whether or not, because they talked about his fragile health, how much of it was actually physical fragile health, and how much of it was his mom's imprinting of, like, you're my only thing now connecting me to life and my husband, I can't really hear anything.
Okay, I have his chart pulled up. So this is interesting here. So I don't know how into astrology you are. I can read charts. I'm slow at it because I like to really read and, like, diagnose it. But hang on a second. His I just think when it comes to astrology, for myself, it's accurate. I don't know how you feel about it.
I know a little bit of it. I would honestly not know how to read a chart. If you hand one to me,
You're like, I don't know. I know Kat, like, I've done Kat's for her, and I've done her with her twin flame and stuff, and she's like, holy crap, I don't even know how you're into this because it's so in depth. You can literally get so into detail with an astrology chart. Like, you can predict the days that, like, are the best days for you to, like, invest in something. Like, literally, you can get that specific with it. And I think that's why I'm so obsessed with astrology. But you have your sun, your moon, and your rising sign, and that all represents different things. So that's why I like with him, I'm researching it right now. So his moon was a Libra moon, which is interesting because that's what Kat is. Kat's moon is a Libra.
Well, what was also fascinating was his childhood, like, because he got into the classics and into apparently he learned Latin and the Greco-Roman. He for a short time believed in the Greco-Roman gods and everything, and got a little dedicated to that for like a hot minute, and then something changed about that too. I think it was when he got into science, and he's like, nope, this is not it.
His moon is in his 7th house, which is relationships, marriage, contracts, business partners, equality sharing, or even like interpersonal style. So his moon is probably more important for H.P. Lovecraft in Libra. He was all about balance, which is a big deal because when he's writing, he's in his head, right? Like your moon sign is what you are on the inside. So he was a Libra, and his moon sign was in the 7th house, which is relationships, marriages, contracts. So essentially you could even think of him creating these books and writing these books. His moon's in his 7th house as like creating contracts and relationships with his fans. And at the time, if you think about it, he wasn't that popular. He was way ahead of his time. He didn't really become popular till, I would say, like the 80s, something like that. And now he's just out, like off the hook. You know, literally it took, kind of like Edgar Allan Poe died very, very poor and broke. Similar with Lovecraft, didn't he die of syphilis?
Wait, Poe or Lovecraft?
I think Lovecraft died of syphilis. Or am I wrong?
No, Lovecraft died of small cancer.
Okay, did he die? Okay, I couldn't remember.
His father died of syphilis.
Oh, his father died of syphilis. God, I got it mixed up. I'm sorry. He's probably up there like, don't you say I got syphilis? I didn't get syphilis. That's a rough disease because it makes you go crazy, you know? So...
Yeah, that was the break he had, and I can't remember what, there was like a particular phrase they put on his death certificate, and everyone's like, oh, syphilis, that what ended up driving him into the asylum and everything.
Wow, I'm just looking at his chart. It's interesting because he doesn't have planets where you... Okay, so your 11th and 12th house, let's see. 11th house is humanitarianism. A lot of people don't have planets in their 11th and 12th house. If you have planets in your 11th and 12th house in your astrological chart, it usually means you have like a really strong connection to spiritualism, and he does have planets there, so that's interesting. He has a lot of conjunctions too, which would have made sense as to why he was having, like he has squares, and they're called squares in conjunction in his chart. So if I were to sit down and really read this in depth, it would probably show him having some serious financial issues like he did, like we saw him have. And he actually has his north node is square to his, it looks like square to his Pluto, and Pluto's not a good sign. Pluto is a good sign, or a sign that shows you of things that you need to do, like death and rebirth. And your north node is what your like full life path represents of like while you're here on this planet. So for Pluto to be right next to that, no wonder he had so many issues. So it's just really, I'm shocked because it's interesting when you read somebody's chart like that, like it always shows through. So now he was born in Rhode Island. So essentially he was born into this like sort of aristocrat family. They had a lot of money. His grandfather had a lot of money. They thought they were going to be, you know, wealthy when this child was born. And then all of a sudden his grandfather dies, and it essentially sends the whole family into poverty. And then for the remainder of Lovecraft being a writer, he's like struggling financially over and over again. And he ends up dying in poverty. Isn't he like he's actually in poverty when he dies? And he died I know it's the 1900s, but he died at the age of 46, which I feel like is still young.
The thing is, too, is like in some ways, this is I think he's a kind of a perfect example when an artist needs a manager.
Agreed.
He was very bad with managing, I think, his own work. I mean, like he didn't like to talk about money, apparently. He didn't like to go after people if they didn't pay him for his writing. He didn't like... He would sometimes pick and choose when he wanted to be extra about writing or anything, or even editing, apparently, too. Mm-hmm. Like, if someone said, oh, please just edit this, he just said, like, nope, not going to bother, and just, like, pass by a paying job because he didn't want to deal with it.
Mhm.
So I think this is one of the perfect examples of like, this is when the artist needs a manager to do the paper pushing part that the artist is like very good at.
Well, and you also think if he was actually up throughout the night, overnight, creating these worlds of Cthulhu, like you said, if you haven't read Cthulhu or any of his other, you guys have to go get the books. Like, they're always on sale for fairly inexpensive at Barnes & Noble. I love don't ever take me to Barnes & Noble, Elfie. I'll go in there and I won't be out for 5 hours. Like, literally, it's so dangerous because I love bookstores. But read it and understand that the depth that he took for the detail is just amazing. Like, you are in the world. Like, you are submerged. I can't help it. Like, if anyone's in the new Facebook group for Ghost Girl Diaries, I posted this meme where it was like, when a tourist talks about something they're passionate about, I'm literally doing it. It's this like this picture of Rihanna, a meme, and she's like talking. I feel like that's me. I love H.P. Lovecraft and Poe because you can literally like jump into their world through one of their books, and if they are reading and writing that much in detail, and like if H.P. Lovecraft was up from 1 to 3 in the morning doing these writings, how in the world would you expect him to get up the following day and go to work? Or like do normal people things? Or like you say, manage himself? He wouldn't have been, think of that. You would have been sleeping until 11 or noon because you're staying up all night writing. And then it's that thing, you get that creative flow going. You don't want to stop. What do you think about it?
It's interesting. It's one of those like, apparently like later in his life, like towards the end, like he mentions the part where he feels like his childhood, if things had been better managed or better, if he had been better educated in a trade or something, things would not be so difficult for him. Because honestly, he, like you said, he was born in kind of an aristocratic family. That was all he knew,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't. He was an editor. He did some journalism. He did writing stuff, but like he was never really up for a 9-to-5 job. Like when he decided he wanted to like go into the army when World War I hit and everything,
Mm-hmm.
one of the friends were like, "You probably shouldn't," because they're like, "You wouldn't survive it,"
Mm-hmm.
because this like 5'11", 150-pound nervous person. It's like, yeah, don't do that.
No, that is true. I mean, if you come from an aristocrat family, money's passed down, assuming wealth will be passed down. I mean, ultimately, it has been passed down, essentially. You know, like, it was passed down at one point. You wouldn't...
That was all he was living on.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Inheritance.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what do you do with yourself if you don't have that accessibility. Essentially, you haven't been taught life skills. Right?
Yeah,
I mean...
he didn't even finish high school or anything.
No.
So, and he apparently sounded like almost like he barely was in high school because he constantly was being taken out of school, or he was leaving school and coming back and this and that. He never really finished it. So he was never really taught. He was not taught a lot of adulting skills, essentially.
None. Really none. Like, I feel bad for the guy because it's like they just sort of expected him to follow in the footsteps of his family. It appeared to me, and I read some blogs too that people had like done research on him. It seemed like his family was sort of ashamed of him for being a writer too. I think that's like a stigma that still follows some writers around. Like, oh, you're never going to make money being a writer. You're never going to make money doing that. Like, you should just be like, in his case, probably like involved in the stock market or like a businessman or something, you know, like, or own your own business. And instead he's sitting there writing creepy novels, and they're probably like, oh, these kids creepy. Like, there was one blog I was reading about, and it was like, yeah, he makes like, you know, these creepy characters that are like scaring kids and making moaning sounds. And so, I mean, that's enough to say what his family thought about him. Even though we're sitting here saying he's a genius, his family was like, oh, you're not good enough, you're shit, essentially.
I think the problem is like, okay, so they weren't exactly happy when his mother married his dad because he was a blue-collar salesman and everything. So they weren't happy with that right off bat before Lovecraft was even born. And so then with Lovecraft himself, unfortunately, even though they were on a very dwindling inheritance, to them, writing for pulp magazines was not exactly considered a career. It was not considered something you brag about, like, guess what my son does. They were like, unfortunately, this is what my son does.
And he was barely,
he would grow up.
He was barely keeping food on the table for himself with that. And it's like you saying, like he'd do one article for this magazine company he was working for, and he wouldn't do another one until it was absolute that he had to do it because maybe rent was due or whatever else. So he also didn't have a lot of motivation. I mean, maybe he had written so much and it just wasn't going anywhere that he was slowly like, oh, I guess I'm going to do it again. Like, I'm going to try it again, you know, like it was like constant battles in his life, personal life. And then he's also being kicked with the family.
Well, apparently, unfortunately, like, if you look at the way his life and everything growing up and everything, kind of, apparently he was very self-conscious about any critique at all of his work. Like, he supposedly, like, acted fine, but behind the scenes, he was very self-conscious of his work being critiqued in any manner at all. And unfortunately, it seems like instead of, I don't know if he looked at writing as a literal job or career or just a creative outlet, because that might have been why maybe he picked and choose like when he wanted to write, and they apparently had to pull teeth to get articles out of them sometimes.
You can tell it was very slow moving though. Like if you just research his life, Elfie and I researched his life, and you can tell it was like, I think he was happy writing like the Necronomicon or writing his short stories. But I think that was where his passion was. And at the time, he's creating these in the 1800s or early 1900s. People don't really give a shit about it, honestly. And that's why he's having to work as a publisher in a magazine and publish, other editorials. And he was doing it to feed himself. But that was definitely not where his passion laid. But it's what we all do, right? Is we all have to get a job to work that 9 to 5 and whatever, like got to bring food in for the family and to feed yourself. So it's interesting. But once again, I still feel like we're talking about someone who was just way too ahead of his time. Because now we have things like Fiverr, we have things like Upwork, where if he wanted to be like a freelance writer, there's outlets for it, Back then, what were your options as a freelance writer? The newspaper, a journal, maybe a magazine here or there, and that's about it. Like, what other options did you have? Because any other, like, atypical writing, such as documents, would have been done through a legal team, through someone that had gone to law school, right? And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, he's writing for pulp magazines that were not really meant to last. I mean, these weren't considered great works of classical books. It was his friends who basically kept his work alive. I mean, if he didn't have that circle of people who loved his work, it would have probably gone just to nothing. It would have just gone into the recycling bin because no one really thought of those pulp papers as anything but just something consumed like a comic book back then. I mean, and I think the couple times he did actually publish an actual book, they didn't sell too well, and that even brought him down even more. It's like, well, I guess they don't like my stuff.
No, he didn't become something till like, within the last 50 years, in my opinion. Like, no one really cared who he was. But really, I mean, even before the 80s, though, if you think about occult, quote unquote, because I've talked to my mom about like the theory of being a part of the occult, and that can be paranormal investigating, even before there was equipment. That can be breaking into haunted locations, asylums, or what's another example? Witchcraft, right? And my mom said that she remembers back when it really got popular was like the hippie era, Vietnam era, the 60s, right? Free love, peace, and joy. The movement of the witchy era was females breaking off and doing love potions or love spells and creating this stuff. And then they start researching the occult side of things, and somebody pops in with Lovecraft. Well, it takes really good 20 years till into the 80s to gain some serious momentum. And that's when they started actually really reproducing and republishing his books finally. Even though it's been like forever, like many years, 100 years later. And it's sad because it's like he died in poverty. He didn't have anything, like this poor guy. And then now but that must have been his life path, was to come to this planet, make these short stories and books and make himself well known, and then to leave. Because he's literally world renowned now, like it's crazy how pop culture and even movies. So you did a little of this research too. He has been involved with pop culture. Like, you probably don't even realize how much he's been involved with pop culture. What was something you found about that was kind of shocking? We were chatting about that earlier.
What I found interesting was that I didn't realize until like starting to look at the list of all the various things that are considered Lovecraftian. I mean, the dude created a genre without realizing he created a genre, essentially.
That's such a mood. Lovecraft, thank you for creating the occult. Okay, boo, like, we appreciate you so much. Like, without you, we wouldn't be here. So cheers to Lovecraft. Anyway, keep going.
But I didn't realize that I essentially grew up with a lot of this pop culture Lovecraftian and stuff without even really knowing who Lovecraft was until much later when, like, someone like, oh, H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu, and I'm like, who?
Right.
And then reading about him was like, okay, so this is, and it's just like, you have the Evil Dead, you have the games, you have Hellraiser, you have Hellboy. It's just all these various pop culture things that just took from a few stories and like expanded upon it.
Thank you for cheering, Nikita. Yes, Hellboy was a huge one. Cthulhu.
Del Toro loves it.
Yeah, I know. And it makes you wonder too. Okay, so you talk about sailors claiming there's like giant octopus under the sea or whatever. I'm not saying there isn't, or squid or whatever. Okay, I'm not saying that doesn't exist. But it does make you wonder if at some point in the 1900s they got wind of Lovecraft's writings. And, like, they had a fear of it, and then you could almost manifest it. Or they think they saw something, or, oh, this giant squid, and then you have these men at sea talking about, like, the actual Cthulhu, like, that lived. It makes you wonder, did H.P. Lovecraft inspire sailors talking about Cthulhu? Or did the sailors inspire H.P. Lovecraft talking about, like, Cthulhu lives? So you don't know. And now it's so predominant. It's just like, of course you're going to reference. I was just telling Elfie, my bathroom is Cthulhu themed. Like, that's how much of a hardcore, like, Lovecraft fan I am, And it's just crazy. Like, he even got involved in politics for a while.
The giant squid part was, like, way before Lovecraft and everything, and that probably comes back to like him enjoying like the Odyssey and the mythos around like Poseidon, the oceans and everything, and then you get the signs of the idea, could there be a giant squid and whatnot, and they later find out there is giant squid.
No, yeah, actually they do exist, by the way. Yeah, they also said that Lovecraft was influenced by Poe, so I thought that was awesome too. I'm sorry, I'm reading through my notes that other influences were with Poe. Forbidden knowledge. I'm looking for the section where I was talking about there's isn't that the notes just go on and on. Like, there's so much in there.
Well, what was cool too is the fact that, like, not only Lovecraft writes his own stuff, but the fact that he ghost wrote for other people, that he edited for other people, and the fact that there was like a possible moment where him and Houdini working together, and then it was unfortunately due to Houdini's death that stopped that, but then they later on found the manuscript that him, Houdini, and one other guy were actually working on to create.
Oh, okay. There's the one I want to talk. Guillermo del Toro. I can't even say his name right.
Yeah.
Which is Pan's Labyrinth. You've seen all of those, which are dark, and I don't know if you guys haven't seen any of Gilmore's videos or movies. Oh my God, he's up there with Tim Burton in my opinion with just like the dark, edgy stuff. But apparently,
the Devil's Backbone.
Yes. I mean, it's a shame that H.P. Lovecraft isn't still alive, because I think that if he would have been converted into a director, can you imagine if he was directing movies? Oh my, I'd love to like do a movie and like channel H.P. Lovecraft as a director.
I would honestly be freaked out by the fan base. I think he would totally be like, in some ways, turn off, I think, if he saw the fan base.
Okay, here's the list of pop culture, which you went through it too, right? And it was like ridiculous how much, like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, H.P. Lovecraft inspired Metallica to write a song called The Call of Cthulhu. I mean, hello, like, geez, how much bigger can you get with Metallica? You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, this list, you guys, is just there's games involved.
Oh, there's so many tabletop games, video games, PC games. There's books. I mean, heck, I even found another book when I was doing research called I Am Providence that I didn't know about. That's like. Really cool.
Another thing, World of War. I play video games a lot when I have 5 minutes to myself, which hasn't been very often lately. But World of Warcraft.
What do you know what you're doing afterwards?
Oh God, I gotta get this.
When this book is done.
I need some Jesus in my life, I just need some help. I told Kat, I was like, she's been helping me do social media management, and she's like, well, tell me what I can do to help you. Just give me the list. I was like, Kat, I don't even know if I can think of the list right now. I don't even know what's going on here. But World of Warcraft, so that's a online video game, which I'm a big World of Warcraft player. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've played it for years. My main is a Blood Elf Paladin. But they're talking about that it also has sections that are Cthulhu or, based on H.P. Lovecraft, which World of Warcraft is huge. WoW is huge, so that was shocking. There's even, different influences that have happened with religion and occultism. So they're saying even Anton LaVey, who is the founder of the Church of Satan, was also inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. That's... I mean...
I'm not surprised, honestly. I mean, you have this... Anton LaVey being an entertainer in himself. I mean, the guy worked in sideshows and played the Calliope, and I could see him grabbing a copy of H.P. Lovecraft and just, totally getting kicked out of that.
Okay, this is off topic, but I just really want to talk about it with you for a second, because I'm just interested in hearing what you say, and you'll definitely be interested in hearing my opinion on it. Have you met people that are self-proclaimed Satanists before, like Anton LaVey? Did you say yeah?
One of my friends is actually part of the church and everything.
Okay. I mean, obviously, I've met them. Zach has a few that works down with him. There's two different kinds, in my opinion, and I'm assuming if you're friends with one, they're probably the calmer version, right? Is that what it is?
Well, he's a part of the church and everything. I think he's, in the higher ranks. I can't remember. I'll probably botch it anyways.
It's a mood.
He's the example where it's he's one of the chillest Satanists you'll ever meet, and he's actually one of the ones, he's been on our show and everything. His name's Corvus. He's usually one that goes in to kind of dispel the inaccurate information.
Why? I know,
this is Church of Satan, this is not Church of Satan.
Why are Satanists either really nice or psychotic? There's no middle ground. I don't understand. Literally, I've met a self-proclaimed Satanist. I feel like Anton LaVey was the same way, which was, like you said, a character. He had a performance to play. I am Anton LaVey, the master behind the Church of Satan, the founder, blah blah blah. I know another guy that's a Satanist. He's known by association. Does that make sense? And he always, like, I think because I'm a girl and I'm blonde, he, like, wants to scare me by using the term, like, Church of Satan. And I'm like, so I'll be around him, like, if it's a group gather, obviously not since, Rona, but there's a group gathering, and he comes up to me, he's like, do you know I'm part of the Church of Satan? And he gets this, like, dark intent on his eyes, and he's, like, staring, and I'm looking at him like, you do not scare me, like, at all. Like, I don't know why some Satanists, like, I think they're blowhards a little bit, some Satanists. Like, there's cool Satanists, which I assume they don't really do the dark stuff either. And then the blowhards. And I see Anton LaVey doing the blowhard stuff. And it's funny because you're sitting here looking at him like, Anton LaVey, you have to put the dots together. The founder of the Church of Satan, who was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. You are not so tough anymore, boo-boo, okay? Like...
What I find is, I think in a way, similar to other performance stuff, I think, honestly, because he took from a lot of things. He took from, probably, H.P. Lovecraft probably took from other ceremonial magic.
Oh, have you... Oh, Egyptian lore. Oh, my... Enochian? Have you ever read Enochian stuff?
Yes.
If you read Enochian and compare it to the Church of Satan, it's almost damn identical. Like, he stole Enochian lore, in my opinion, and now I'm going to have Satanists come after me for saying that.
It's interesting, like, if you ever sat down and, like, read the Satanic Bible, it's pretty logical. It's not anything crazy or outrageous. It's just more like, I'm doing my thing, you do your thing, don't mess with me, we're all cool, let's just be chill and everything. And I think with LaVey, like, when you see him on the shows and everything, or in interviews, yes, he's going to do the eyebrows and the outfit.
He probably marked those suckers, man. Like, that was some good eyebrow pencils.
He was a performer. He knew that if he didn't make a big presentation, no one was going to listen to him. No one was going to care. They're like, church of what? So I think if you sat down with him without cameras or anything, just, like, chilling with having a drink with him, he was probably pretty chillax guy, and honestly, it would have been pretty cool to talk to him to see what his actual thoughts were, because there's making sound bites for the interviews, and then there's the, what do you really think about blah? And then just him not being honest, essentially.
It's true, and the thing, what bothers me the most about satanic worship, which, by the way, there's different kinds of satanic worship, just like there's different kinds of Christianity and different kinds of Catholicism. There's just different wavelengths of it. Elfie is right. There's the most factual part behind the Church of Satan is I am independent. I do my own thing. You don't mess with me, I won't mess with you. There's laws of balance, that sort of type of thing. If you come after me, expect me to come back after you. But, you do look at sacrifices, and I am not excusing it by any means, because I'm repulsed by sacrifices, because I love animals and children more than anything on this earth. But sacrifices do go back thousands of years. And so I do think that they gain some of their culture from what we used to do in earlier stages of, us being humans on this planet. But, I just don't like it.
That's a whole nother can of worms.
It is.
He did not condone sacrifices, and the ridiculous ones who do, there's a whole their fellow facts with sacrifices, because there are cultures that do sacrifices, but they're not looked at the way, like, we overblow it, like, they don't do human sacrifices.
But that's Hollywood that has stepped in, you know what I mean, that has overblown it. And that's where and I'm not saying I'm a Satanist by any means. Like, I'm not saying I support Satanists. I just don't care what people do. Do your own thing. Just don't hurt. Don't slit a goat's throat, okay? Let the goat live. Give the goat to a farmer and, like, have a reenactment, okay? What did that goat do to deserve that? Let it go. But, like, it's true. It's interesting, and that is a whole different can of worms. But I wish people wouldn't be afraid of the term Satan or Satanist, because it's been Hollywood that's gotten in our head with that and on the majority side. And that's what I say about like demons and darkness too. I'm not saying that you should just go become a Satanist for God's sake. I think everybody needs to read into stuff that they believe in. But yes, I do. It is interesting. Anton LaVey has some of his beliefs based off of Lovecraft. That's how influential this writer was. That's how influential Lovecraft is for a person to literally start a religion. Which, by the way, they are a major religion. They sued. Did you hear they sued Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix? The Church of Satan.
I think that was Temple of Satan.
Was it the other one? Though they won because they used the Baphomet statue without their permission. And the Baphomet statue was like what they see as it's like they're worshiping God, right?
Well, that was a different thing, because you have the Church of Satan, and I believe you have the Temple of Satan, which is a totally different thing, not associated with the Church of Satan. And they had commissioned a Baphomet statue a few years ago to go in front of, I can't remember which, it was one of the city halls. Basically, it was their
I know.
protest.
Why did that make me laugh? It made me laugh so hard. They had Baphomet in front of a city hall, guys. All these politicians.
But it was, because to them, they essentially are, like, they don't believe in a deity. They believe in the idea of personification of devil, but they don't believe in a literal one.
Right.
So their protest is the idea of separation of church and state. So when they saw that the town hall had the Ten Commandments in front, they felt that they're like, well, if you're going to put the Ten Commandments, we should be allowed to also put our religious image, which they made a Baphomet. And I think it didn't end up coming in front of the hall because of stuff, but they still had it in it. Like you said,
they had it somewhere, but I don't think it was in front of the hall. But I do think it was it was outside, because I remember people taking pictures of it and seeing it online.
Yeah, because they have this place that they were trying to like get it to be put there. I think now it's like in their own like place in Massachusetts or something.
It was in Mass, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, they were essentially saying.
Yeah, I saw the whole lawsuit there.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't that crazy? But it's proof of that. Religion doesn't have to be based on Christianity or anything else. It can just be based on Lovecraft. Why don't we make the Church of Lovecraft, Elfie? Do you want to do that with me? We could worship Cthulhu. Yes. Cat could knit everybody Cthulhu's. I'm telling you, we got it down. I'm telling you.
It's like, at least in the story, it seems like anyone who was part of a cult of Cthulhu, it never ends well.
It's true. And once again, you can manifest Cthulhu. I'm just saying, if you believe it, you can manifest it. I want to make sure I didn't skip anything else in this pop culture, because, I mean, the list went on, and it was just amazing to me. I think I got all of the big ones. They just talk about how Lovecraft was huge in like all supernatural and horror. He's been a part of all of that lore that people have brought to life. So many directors have been inspired by him and his writings, and I think that's it. Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead is what it's called. That's the AKA the Book of the Dead, which I just still feel that that's a little bit dramatic. Don't you? Because I'm like you. I've seen some dark books, like I've met some dark people, and they're like, this is the Book of the Dead. And I'm like, really?
Like, I've seen actual translated texts of the Book of the Dead, like the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Greek Book of the Dead. They're never that freaky. They're pretty, tame.
Well, that's like, if people knew that the Church of Satan, I'm going to seriously have a bunch of Satanists come after me. I just know it. And I'm just keep talking, if people knew, if you literally took the Bible of the Church of Satan, because I've had friends that have been a part of the Church of Satan, and I'm talking about the Church of Satan where they believe in, like Elfie said, free to do whatever I want, you can't control me, keep your distance, let's be cool, I'm cool, you're cool. If you read through that book and you compare it to an Enochian literature book, which is essentially, it's an Egyptian, would you call Enochian a religious base? I guess you would. I guess it would be considered a religion. If you compare...
I would call it magical practice.
Magical, okay, Magical practice.
With John D. and Edward Kelly, Queen Elizabeth, seers and everything, who created the Enochian angel language and everything went from there.
If you read Enochian magical practices and you compare it to the Church of Satan, it's like reading, it's not scary is what I'm trying to say. And like I think that that's part of the independence that they're trying to gain, though, behind the name of the quote Church of Satan, is to scare people off because they want to be independent and they want to be different than what we're used to seeing in society with normal religion, like Catholicism and angels and like worshiping statues. And maybe I want to make like a Greek goddess church. Why am I having ideas for churches? Like literally. I know. I'm going to start a religion. We're going to call it the Goat Girl religion. No, that sounds too Satan. We can't call it goat. We'll call it Ghost Girl. No. So, but yeah, Lovecraft is amazing. If you don't own this, guys, and you're a paranormal lover, it's literally like $10, I think, on Amazon or something, or less. Just order it. Like, this is, if you're in paranormal, like, you need to look through this, read through it. I mean, you can't really read this like a book, because it doesn't, like, it's kind of like short stories with symbolism. Like Elfie said, I'd love to see, like, what the original actually looked like, because there's, like, invocations and, like, supposed spells in here. But it's just a really cool book to say that you have, you know? Like, it's old, and it's just cool.
I think also it would actually, like, the Satanic File and the Japan companion to that, like, the
Yes.
witchcraft books.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Necronomicon. Honestly, I think these are good books to read and have in your collection if you're a paranormal investigator, mostly because if you're doing a case of, like, I have this book and they pull and Necronomicon, you're like, oh, that. And I think it's good research to have so that you can then explain to someone like, this is probably not it, or to explain when they think they're doing satanic stuff, and you're like, no, you're not.
Right.
I read the book, you're not.
Okay, so now with that being said, the last thing that I'd love, and I mean, there's a lot of beautiful, like, symbolism in here, so I just think it's cool to look at. Now, the last thing I want to ask you, Elfie, because you had talked to me about kind of some research behind seeing people that do use the Necronomicon for spell work and for, like, summoning invocations. Is it possible to use the Necronomicon in that way so you choose to?
Well, I mean, there's apparently various versions of Necronomicon. And like I said earlier, that they were written by occultists, so I don't think it would be impossible, especially if we go back to, like, last time, thinking of working your will, and if you almost, like, thought for this and you believe in it, it's just working energy. It may seem like it's something fabricated, but if you believe in it hard enough, you could probably call something up, maybe not literally, but something energetic to the effect.
I do think it's possible too. I do think it would be possible. But I also think that if that's what you wanted to be a part of, you'd have to have a step up on your spell work, don't you think? Like, you can't just be like a baby witch and be like, I'm going to summon Baphomet from this book. Like, you need to really know what you're doing, because you can't just, like, stand there and recite something out of this book and be like, let's see if a demon shows up. That's not how this works. I guess what I'm trying to do, I want to take... Well, and I want to take the fear out of it, too, is the point of me talking about this, because I think people are... I've literally had people be like, I'm so afraid of that book. If it was in my house, like, I'd burn it, and I'm like...
Yeah, I think it's the problem is it's similar to, like we said before, with the Ouija board and everything. It's unfortunately Hollywood has, even though it's very entertaining, has kind of put such a spin on these items that people look at them as very real things, when more times than not they're just
tools,
items,
right, or tools,
they're just pieces of board, and they're not going to literally jump out and eat your face.
Oh man, the fights I've been in with people about Ouija boards is just like, I mean, they're just like, oh my god, they're so dangerous. I would never have one. Which you shouldn't have one unless you're gonna plan on using it anyways. But like, I've met Robert Murch. Do you know who he is? Have you met him before?
I am. Yep, and I envy his collection.
Is he not like what you like? What I didn't know him before. Obviously, I mean, like I'd watched him on TV, but like, when you meet him in person, he's not the same energy you would think somebody that owns like 400 Ouija boards would have. You know, like he is so cool. He's so down to earth. And he's like, yeah, I own 400 whatever Ouija boards and I have no paranormal activity in my house. And like, it's just proof. It is not about the item or the tool, like Elfie's saying, or about the Necronomicon. It's about how you use it. It's about how you practice it. And, you know, it's crazy. People will own a millimeter or an ovulus, and they won't own a Ouija board. And I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, or they'll go, oh, I'm going to go on an investigation. I'm going to use my digital camera or my digital recorder and my night vision camera, but I'm not going to ever use a Ouija board. And I'm like, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. So it's just...
I think it's that separation. I think it's because it's an electronic modern device. They think it's... some reason it's in that safe realm of they're not doing anything occultish because it's something electronic, because we've been taught to think anything electronic won't work with occult stuff. So as long as you don't play with the Ouija board, but you play with the digital recorder, you're good. They're not going to do anything.
And the irony is, even if we did like play devil's advocate and go on the dark side of that, Elfie, is demons can still come through the digital recorder, can't they?
What it is.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't. I mean, I honestly think that it's easier for a demon to come through a digital recorder or a video camera than it is for the Ouija board. You know what I mean? Like literally, because the Ouija board, they're like.
Most of the time.
Go ahead.
I think most of the time it's just a dead person messing around.
It is.
It's been around long enough dealing with Ouija boards where someone's like, heck, I've even talked about like, yeah, when I'm a ghost, I'm going to totally just mess with someone.
I've said that too. I say that all the time. Well, I've been with Cat on set or haunted locations, and we've used Ouija boards, and it'll start to spell out Zozo, and I call it out. I'm like, you are not. You are not. You aren't. I know you're not. Like, I know the difference between. You do too. Like, when you've been around that, like, dark stuff, it is like a mucky, heavy energy that you know what it is. And if it's just Joe Schmo from Kokomo sitting there on the other side playing Ouija board with you, you know it's not a demon, okay? You're sitting there like, no, you are not. Like, you must think you're cool. But then you do get other people involved that are like, oh my God, I got a demon come through. And you're just like, really though? Did you?
George.
Are you sure it was a demon? Or was it George? All right, George. Like, yeah. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Elfie, so much for being here today. Lovecraft is amazing. I just think that it is so fun to have these chats because people need to know about these people and understand the influence that it has made on us as paranormal investigators.
We only scratched the surface too. Like, honestly, we barely scratched the surface on both his life and his work. So it's like, this could be a multi-parter. Honestly.
Oh, it could be. It could be because there's so much that goes into him. Like, we barely skimmed his life, guys. So I guess what I could tell you guys is we can always have another follow-up later if you're interested in it. But always do your own research too, because these are literally like the creators. Like Elfie said, this guy sitting here writing the Necronomicon didn't even realize he created the paranormal genre. I mean, if you think back to when he's born in the late 1800s, that was when, well, I mean, early 1800s were when witches were being, hung and burned at the stake and everything else. I mean, there were none burned in the United States, but nonetheless in Europe they were. And you couldn't have contact with the paranormal or be a part of the occult or label yourself as a witch or label yourself as an occultist. And he literally created that genre. And without him, we wouldn't be sitting here watching our favorite shows like Paranormal State or Ghost Adventures. We wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't be able to have paranormal YouTube channels or paranormal podcasts, because at that time, and that was also brave of him to step out to write these things. Think about that. They could have labeled him just as easy, you know, like for being involved in the occult or being a witch. Now at that time they weren't like killing people still, but he still could have been shunned out, which he may have been. We don't really know details because he didn't really write memoirs. But it's these people that make us capable of what we can do.
Okay, do you want to read all his letters? He apparently has started publishing his letters. Mm-hmm. Probably not all 100,000 of them.
In a book? Do you think it's in a book?
Yeah, they've compiled, like, I think there's a couple of books that are compiled of his letters. And
oh, you're kidding.
Give even more information about his life.
Is it on Amazon?
Probably.
Oh.
I only just started recently coming across it because everyone kept saying, like, oh, his letters. It's like, I want to read his letters.
That's
because
true. Who knows?
About his
yeah.
views of his otherness, his views on other people, his controversial views, and just all of that as it changed and grew through his life.
Oh my gosh, they do have it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And it is...
Oh, there's more stuff.
Oh, yeah. But, right. So, once again, we're saying we could literally do this for, like... But isn't that why we love paranormal? All of these topics, we could literally talk for hours, right? I mean, literally. We could go down such a rabbit hole with any of these topics, which is why I love it. But, yeah, he has... it says his main letters, volume 2. So, I'm assuming it's a large composite. It's $60 for the paperback. Like, holy crap. His volume 1 is $29. But once again, okay, I'd love to read them, but I doubt they're all paranormal. You know what I mean? So you'd have to weed through, but that would be a good one. Oh my, I might have to order these. I'm just saying.
Now, most of them like him talking back and forth with his friends who were also writers, his family members, and everyone. Apparently he preferred writing to someone. Like, he'd be the person who'd rather text you than actually talk to you on the phone.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, because he was creepy withdrawn, which mood, I feel you. That's how I've been writing my book. I get it. Oh my God, I've been writing my book. I can't imagine being just a writer. Oh my God, I would lose my mind. Like literally, because I've been finishing my book and he did this all the time. Like you literally have to have inner dialogue with yourself constantly. You'd be exhausted.
Apparently he just like being with himself.
Alfie. Oh my gosh, Alfie, thank you so much for being here. Now I have my monthly agenda coming up. If you guys want to know what we're doing for the month of December, as a heads up, on Friday, February 6th, Kat will be doing a stream with me on Richard Ramirez and Lupercalia. Lupercalia is my second favorite holiday. Of course, we all know what my first favorite holiday is. Elfie will be back again on February 12th on Friday, and we're going to chat about skinwalkers and more Native American lore. I need to send you the TikTok. There's a guy on TikTok, Elfie, who lives on a ranch, I think in Arizona. I follow him, and he's always outside catching what he thinks is skinwalkers on his ranch. And he's always catching audio of them like making noises and like talking to him in the dark. Really cool. So that would be cool to incorporate in the stream. I want to go. I'd like to contact him and go to his ranch to investigate the skinwalkers. I would be interested in knowing what would happen if you went to Skinwalker Ranch with a Native American, like me. What would happen? Would they be afraid of me, or would it make them come closer? You know, my grandma's rolling over in her grave, like, please don't do that, Krystal. Like, please don't do that. Okay, don't.
Suddenly the activity just skyrockets. Like, oh shoot, what now?
And then let's see, we're doing Kat is now. Are you doing Black Eyed Kids with me?
Yeah, I'm doing Black Eyed Kids with you.
Okay, so Black Eyed Kids, we're going to be doing that next Friday. Will be the 19th of February, and then on the 26th of February, Kat is going to come in with BTK and serial killers, so that should be really interesting too. So I'm excited. Kat and I we have some tea to spill about Richard Ramirez. If you have not watched the special on Netflix about him, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's To Catch a Killer. It's really good. It's only a four video series. If you guys get a chance, those of you listening, it's really good. I did not know Richard Ramirez was also a pedophile and a child molester. I didn't realize that. So that was new information to me. I thought he just was killing people, which was bad enough. But yeah, so they really released some deets on him. So catch that series on Netflix so you guys are caught up for when Kat and I talk about it next week. I'm also watching another documentary on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called something like What Happens When You Die or like Afterlife. I can't remember. It's a short... Have you seen it? Have you seen it on there?
I've seen it recommended. I have not watched it.
Oh,
yeah, it looks like afterlife stuff.
I watched the first.
About it?
I watched the first episode last night, and it was like nothing short of amazing. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. They interview people talking about like their near-death experiences. Now the next chapter is about psychics and mediums, so that will be interesting. I haven't seen the second episode, but I'm gonna hopefully incorporate that in a future series too. Because I talk about having near-death experiences in my book. I've had several in my life. And mine compared to some of these people in this series. And I was shocked by it. So that's interesting. So anyway, Elfie, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so much. So I will see you back on February 12th for Skinwalkers.
Fun time.
Yay. Thanks, Elfie. Make sure you guys follow her at Elfie Music on something. On Instagram. There we go. Sorry. I just wanted to give you guys a closing statement. Just say thank you guys so much for being patient with me while I'm going through this process of finalizing my book. It's been a lot of work. It really has been. And it's going to be very rewarding once it's done. But I just can't wait for it to be done. Like I said, the latest it should be available is Monday. Make sure you're following me on Twitter for notifications. I am so tired. But I'll tell you what, once I get that copy in my hand, I'm probably going to cry. I've had some of you ask me questions like, you know, when is your next book going to come out? Because I told you guys I was going to release the actual paranormal book next. I need a minute is my answer. I'm going to need a minute to like catch my brain up. So let's do this one first. I don't know how people pump out like a book every 2 months. I don't know how I would die. I literally wouldn't make it. But yeah, I'm going to have the next one. It'll be soon. But remember this book does have paranormal stuff in it. It just talks about, it's based off of my personal soulmates, karmic partners, and there is a chapter about my twin flame in there, which I know some of you were dying for that tea. I know you guys can't wait to read that tea, okay? So it's in there. No names will be shared, but there's some tea, okay? Because I know I've been so private with my life. A lot of people are like, they want to know about my life, and I understand. And, you know, I guess the biggest thing I can say is, just because I'm a public figure doesn't make my life any easier. You know, like some people think like, oh, you've been on YouTube and you've been on television and you have all this success and like your life is perfect. Ha! Like far from. I've definitely had my share of like some serious struggles, even before, way before I was on television in 2011. So I can't wait for you guys to read my book. It is a little raw, though, knowing, like, that my story's about to be, like, way exposed. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to tell you guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. Watch my Twitter for further notifications. Kat will be next week with me with Richard Ramirez and Lupercalia. Ghost Girl merch. If you guys haven't seen, I got my Ghost Girl Diaries store up. So it's Ghost Girl, let me write it down. ghostgirlglam.com, and I have new merch up there, and I have a lot of Ghost Girl Diaries tees up there. I also put on, I think, 3 Valentine's tees on my Ghost Girl Glam site, and one of them's a Lupercalia tee, I'm just saying, and it has a Roman picture in the background because Lupercalia was based off of Rome. And there's a hoodie. There's a Ghost Girl hoodie that's up. I've had a lot of you guys catch merch and you've like loved it. So make sure you go to ghostgirlglam.com. There will be more. I'm hoping once the book's done, I'll be able to drop merch even earlier than that, like themed for like different holidays and pagan holidays and paranormal related merch. If you guys have any requests, please leave them in the comments below. I love to hear from you guys. Make sure you follow us on social media. And as always, I will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.